Guys, we've got Team Chaser coverage of the summer of commuting hell. Got Ashley in New York and Sibile. You are chasing a part of this story where they're actually using zip ties to solve a technical problem on the trains. But I want to start with Ashley. Ashley, you are in New York.
Sheena Tucker from Harlem is still in a state of shock after the nightmare she experienced Tuesday morning when the subway she was on derailed.
Everything was just dark and it was just a loud boom, and then it was just flames and sparks flying from the side of the train and a lot of smoke.
Here's video she took of the chaos in which she suffered a spinal injury after she was pushed and shoved by other frantic passengers.
I was being trampled, so my back, I was getting pushed in my back on my right side, and my spine, my lower back and my neck area is in pain.
Sheena was on a southbound A train which jumped the tracks and slammed into a wall at the 125th Street station in Harlem, injuring dozens and inconveniencing hundreds all the way through rush hour. Now, Governor Andrew Cuomo signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency for the city's Metropolitan Transit Authority. Sheena has filed a claim against MTA for $5 million.
Action is necessary. Repairs must be made. Wouldn't money be better spent on fixing the trains as opposed to giving damages to victims? And victims are entitled to damages, no question about it.
Sheena was on her way to a doctor's appointment when it happened, and after finally making her way off the train, she made her way to St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital for treatment. High-profile attorney Sanford Rubenstein is handling Sheena's case.
From the hospital she was treated at shows the results of a CAT scan, which shows a protruding disc in the thoracic spine. That's a serious injury.
MTA officials declined to comment on the pending lawsuit. Meanwhile, Sheena says right now, at this point in her life, she vows that she will never take a subway ever again in life.
Thank you, Ashley. Sibile, you are covering a part of this story, chasing a part of this story that honestly would make MacGyver proud. How about using zip ties to fix a train?
I found out that subway trains are being held together with zip ties. Jaya tweeted out this picture. In the tweet, she says, zip ties used on the undercarriage of a 7 train. Is this standard? How often are these checked for wear and tear? Well, that tweet was the tweet heard around New York. We're making sure that as many viewers as possible see this. I mean, that's zip ties.
Oh my God. I'm afraid to get on the train now.
I wanted to find out for myself. I had to see it. So I went down to 34th Street in Hudson Yards in New York, went to the 7 train stop, and tried to see for myself if I could see some zip ties underneath the trains. That's when a conductor came up to me and told me to stop filming because it's a safety issue for me to be filming. Me filming
Not the zip tie.
is a safety issue.
It's the filming, that's
the
the
flimsy zip tie holding on subway trains, like official trains that New Yorkers are coming on, that is perfectly fine. So I, of course, showed the picture to some commuters.
That's pretty upsetting, a little scary, a little bit worrisome. I hope they can fix that soon.
What do you usually use zip tie for?
I don't really use zip ties, I guess luggage.
I spoke to some construction workers because in that area, it's Hudson Yards, there's plenty of construction, plenty of high rises.
Seeing a zip tie is a red flag for taking immediate action for further investigation.
But it wasn't just the one. I mean, the MTA admitted that this is their quick fix for whatever that technical problem is. So there are zip ties being used on trains throughout the city.
So here's the thing, that same day, the morning of Wednesday morning is when Jaya took that picture and tweeted it out. That same afternoon, she saw another train headed to Manhattan with zip ties. So I reached out to the MTA. I said, okay, why are there zip ties on trains? They flat out admitted it. Please stop. The train is not being held together with zip ties, air quotes. The ties are a backup way of securing a cable, a secondary fastener on the subway car. It's used in conjunction with other fasteners. It's 100% safe and only used on some cars on the 7 lines. We have a specifically designed bracket that is being engineered and is set to be installed in the next few weeks, meaning it's not there now. Again, this is just a backup measure and it is safe. So the MTA is admitting it.
But to play devil's advocate on it, Zip ties are pretty reliable. It's not like it's holding the wheel on. Rob, you've probably used zip ties in your line of work.
And they're not quite as reliable as you think.
There we go.
You can,
Boom.
I've secured people and it worked fine, but then I've had situations, now I'm talking zip ties designed for law enforcement. I've had situations where someone could manipulate it and pop it in half.
What I want to know is how much will Governor Cuomo's executive order, his state of emergency, actually do? It sounds great, the governor gets in front of the cameras and gets to let people know he's doing something. I've read that the executive order will free up some funds, but the question is, can it really speed anything up? They can get some funding to projects they were going to do anyway, but is it really going to make a difference for commuters this summer?
I would question what the zip tie is holding. What cable? Does it work to brakes? I mean, that could be an issue.
That's a good question, right. Yeah. It's one of the lights. But again, don't you think part of this is that they failed to communicate? If this had not been a tweet that went out that then went viral and everybody got upset, if they had led with it, even with a little bit of humor, saying, hey, you're gonna see a zip tie on the train, it's not holding the wheels on, it's holding a cable, you could have diffused this early.